Have you ever been belittled by the one person who should have believed in you most? Imagine a woman, stripped of her creative life after a painful divorce, standing with nothing but her dreams and a few warm brushes. Her ex-husband, bloated with ego and ill-gotten success, sneers at her empty canvas and faded ambitions. He believes she's defeated. But what he fails to realize is that the talent pulsing through her veins is worth more than his fleeting empire. In mere weeks, that bare canvas will inspire a masterpiece that unites her with an enigmatic billionaire and crushes his world entirely. This is the tale of how she triumphed. The soft hum of conversation in the upscale cafe was once a melody of shared dreams for Elena. Now, it was a discordant reminder of all she'd forfeited. She sat across from Marcus at a window table in Café Noir, a spot he'd selected for its chic ambience and overpriced lattes. Naturally, it was all sleek marble and minimalist decor, a venue meant to elevate the elite or crush the ordinary. Elena, in her faded jeans and simple white blouse, one of the few items she'd claimed as truly hers, felt the weight of the ladder pressing down. 3 years. It had been 3 years since the divorce decree had severed her world. He'd retained the loft in Manhattan, the contemporary art they'd amassed, or rather, the pieces he'd funded and she'd authenticated, and the circle of superficial influencers. She departed with a meager alimony, her self-worth in ruins, and a void that echoed louder than their fiercest disputes. "You seem adjusted, Elena," Marcus started, his tone slick and rehearsed, laced with that familiar patronizing bite. He stirred his espresso, a blend costing more than her weekly groceries. He sported a custom Armani suit, a Rolex glinting on his wrist, subtle emblems of his rising status. He was a man who hoarded trendy, costly novelties, and for 12 years, she'd been his most prized exhibit. "I'm coping, Marcus," she responded, her voice softer than planned. She kept her hands folded in her lap, urging them not to fidget. She'd accepted this closure coffee against her instincts, tempted by a naive wish for resolution, maybe even remorse. He chuckled, a deep, insincere rumble that bypassed his eyes. Coping? In that dingy studio in Brooklyn, slinging paint for local galleries? That's quite the fall from grace, isn't it? He waved broadly at the elegant space, at the existence they'd once cohabited. The jab struck true and deep. In their marriage, her love for art, for the strokes that captured souls in oil and acrylic, the histories woven into forgotten canvases, had been trivialized as a whimsical pastime. He'd indulged it only when it benefited him, when her eye could spot a rising artist's work for his investment portfolio. He'd never appreciated the artistry, the nights of feverish creation, the pure devotion she held for the medium. "It's genuine work," she murmured, the phrase tasting bitter. Of course," he placated, sipping his drink. "I'm just worried. I spotted you last month outside the Met. You were gazing at the exhibit posters like a lost tourist. For a second, I thought you'd glue yourself to the glass like some starving artist cliché." He was provoking her, and she recognized it. He craved a response. Tears, fury, anything to affirm his story that she was adrift without him, a canvas unpainted and worthless. "I was just observing," she said, her eyes falling to the spotless table. The barista delivered their orders, his a decadent pastry tower, hers a plain croissant she couldn't stomach. He sliced into his treat with calculated elegance. "You know, Sophia and I are finalizing the gallery in Soho next week," he mentioned offhand, naming the 28-year-old curator he'd abandoned her for. A real space, installations, VIP previews. Sophia's diving into NFTs. Can you picture it? Elena pictured it vividly. The vapid openings, the stage joy, the same stifling hollowness she'd endured, just with a trendier, edgier host. "I'm glad for you," she fibbed, the words brittle and alien. Marcus set his fork aside, his hazel eyes turning icy and sharp, piercing hers. The pretense of amiability dissolved, exposing the vicious heart of the man she'd once adored, or believed she had. Look, the actual reason I wanted this chat. My accountant was reviewing old holdings, that silly stack of your sketches and half-finished paintings in the attic. He inquired about their value. He leaned in, a sly grin curling his lips. I told him straight, zilch, just emotional clutter. Her breath hitched. That collection was her essence. Each piece a narrative she'd birthed. A surreal landscape echoing her grandmother's tales, a portrait series capturing fleeting emotions. They weren't mere daubs. They were fragments of existence, odes to humanity itself. He'd always dubbed them her messy doodles. You discarded them. The query was a hushed gasp of incredulity. Donated to some thrift in Chelsea. He dismissed with a flick of his hand. Tax write-off, you get it. Just heads up so you don't chase them as overlooked assets. He lingered, savoring the venom. Time to wake up, Elena. You exited this marriage with nothing worthwhile. He eyed her hands on the table, bare and slightly quivering. No more the Tiffany bands he'd bestowed. No adornments at all. Empty. And then he laughed. Not a booming guffaw, but worse, a gentle, scornful snicker brimming with his unassailable triumph. The noise of her life appraised, quantified, and deemed trash. Bare canvas, he uttered, the phrase a conclusive condemnation. You truly departed with nothing whatsoever. In that instant, something within Elena transformed. The agony, the shame, the mourning that had shrouded her for 3 years receded, supplanted by a serene, steely resolve. The haze of her grief dissipated, unveiling a resilient core she'd overlooked. He was mistaken. He perceived void because he'd never deigned to perceive. He saw bare hands, but ignored the lifetime of vision in her gaze, the skill refined in silent studios and obscure galleries. He couldn't grasp the one asset he could never seize, her talent. She met his stare at last, her hands steadying. She uttered nothing. She rose, placed her napkin beside her untouched croissant, and exited the cafe, abandoning Marcus to his conquest, the reverberation of his laughter trailing her into the apathetic New York avenues. The commute back to Brooklyn blurred with yellow cabs and concrete sidewalks. The subway's sway, typically a bomb of anonymity, jarred today. Each jolt mirrored her inner chaos. Elena's studio was atop a walk-up in Bushwick, a cramped space she'd infused with personality via easels, paint-splattered floors, and the comforting aroma of linseed oil and turpentine. But now, unlocking the door, the modest area felt less refuge and more confinement. As Marcus had sneered, a dingy hole. She tossed her keys on the rickety side table, the clang piercing the quiet. For a beat, she leaned against the door, eyes shut. His laughter looped cruelly. Bare canvas, nothing whatsoever. The treachery extended beyond his affair or the abrupt dissolution. The profoundest scar was his outright disdain for her core. He'd viewed her art as a quirk, her creativity as a charming gimmick. He'd eroded her assurance until she accepted his appraisal as truth. Entering the main room, her sight landed on her livelihood and sole comfort, her workspace. It was a battered wooden table by the window, organized amid apparent disorder. On it rested pallets of dried pigments, brushes in jars, and canvases in various stages. At the center, stretched on an easel, was a half-completed abstract she was refining for a client. This was her realm, one of vision, texture, and expression. A domain where worth wasn't a market price, but innovation, emotion, and the narratives etched in every stroke. While Marcus pursued viral trends and ephemeral fame, she delved into the souls of artists past, grasping the genius in a bold brushstroke, the artistry in a layered composition. He'd tossed her collection. The notion pierced anew. She collapsed into the frayed armchair, facing her easel, hugging herself. The surreal landscape with its swirling colors, a piece she'd salvaged from a flea market and reimagined. The portrait of an unknown figure, its eyes holding untold stories. Each a companion, a venture, a fragment of her. He hadn't merely donated. He'd obliterated part of her past, herself. She recalled the imbalance defining their union. He wielded the funds, the prestige, the commanding presence that muted hers. She'd yielded, mediated, diminished herself to slot into his polished frame. She'd persuaded herself it was a quality, but it was a gradual, courteous conquest of her spirit, so subtle she hadn't noticed until destitute. His remark about spotting her at the Met resurfaced. He'd seen a beggar. He hadn't grasped reality. She hadn't ogled the banners with envy. Her focus was a subtle detail in the poster, a reproduction of a lesser-known Monet with a faint anomaly in the water lilies, a hue shift hinting at restoration flaws, impacting its valuation by thousands. He saw a pauper at the gates. She was a virtuoso evaluator, practicing gratis for love alone. A simmering rage supplanted the chill of despondency. It was novel, a spark long quelled she'd forgotten its warmth. He mocked her bare canvas. But her canvas wasn't bare. Her hands could conjure worlds from pigment, discern authentic masterpieces from fakes by texture. They could wield a brush and birth emotion. Her eyes shifted from the easel to the walls lined with art books, exhibition catalogs, monographs on masters from Renaissance to modern. This was her treasury. This was her wealth. A fortune Marcus couldn't fathom, much less own. Fueled by this fresh blaze, she rose and approached her easel. She selected a palette knife, its familiar weight soothing, and mixed a vibrant hue. Viewing the canvas, the chaos of forms sharpened into harmony, a personal cosmos unfolding in color. She applied a stroke, bold and precise. It was delicate, intense work, but her mind cleared, focus unyielding. In this realm, she wasn't a cast-off spouse. She wasn't bare. She was a creator, a guardian of vision, a reviver of faded dreams. As she painted, the rhythm of her brush altered. It wasn't mere creation anymore. It was a timer of vow, the stroke of a different canvas, measuring not losses, but what she'd forge. Marcus had ignited conflict unwittingly. He deemed it ended. For Elena, it commenced. For days post the caustic coffee with Marcus, the fury had tempered into focused determination. The shock of losing her sketches yielded to pragmatic review of her plight. Sorrow was unaffordable. She required strategy. Her freelance restorations and commissions covered basics, but it was precarious. For real autonomy, a bulwark against Marcus's shadow, she needed investment. On a rainy Friday morn, Elena gravitated to a haven surpassing her studio, Harlow's Auction Gallery. Not a lofty titan like Sotheby's or Christie's, Harlow's was intimate, nestled in a Greenwich Village alley, focusing on estate sales and eclectic art. A spot where gems lurked amid detritus, discernible only to the discerning. The interior air was rich with aged canvas, varnish, and dust, a scent Elena found grounding. She attended the preview, scrutinizing items pre-bid that afternoon. She navigated the jumbled displays with expert gaze, her brain a rapid assessor. She rejected a Victorian portrait with cracked varnish, spotted shoddy replicas of Impressionist prints, and valued a chipped sculpture optimistically tagged as Rodin. Most visitors were dealers, sharp-featured pros, seeking flips, their checks superficial. Elena's method differed, deliberate, tactile. She was an archivist, a sleuth. She sought hidden signs, the artist's signature under layers, the brushwork dating to an era, the faint underpainting of a genius. She nearly departed, disappointment gnawing, when it caught her, buried in lot 189, labeled miscellaneous art supplies and ephemera, a rolled canvas. It nestled under faded posters and cracked frames. To outsiders, unremarkable, a dusty tube amid clutter. Dealers overlooked it. It was the sort Marcus would term artsy trash. Elena felt a thrill, an artist's intuition long dormant. She knelt, gingerly extracting the roll. It was hefty, suggesting quality linen. She unrolled a corner carefully. The fabric was aged, but resilient. Her fingers traced the surface. Subtle texture, not modern synthetic. Heart racing, she unfurled more. Faint outlines emerged, ethereal figures in muted tones. She spotted a hidden mark in the weave, a stylized V with intertwined vines. Her pulse surged. She knew it from an obscure treatise she'd hunted for years. It was the covert insignia of Viviana Moreau, an elusive 19th-century painter, contemporary to the pre-Raphaelites but shunning fame. Moreau crafted few works for select patrons, each a pinnacle of symbolic depth. Her pieces were legendary, presumed vanished. No authenticated Moreau had surfaced publicly. Hands quivering, she examined further. The composition revealed a dreamlike scene of ethereal women in an enchanted forest, colors subtle yet luminous. But the clincher, interwoven symbols, roses for passion, thorns for pain, in a style Moreau pioneered, a veiled narrative where layers unveiled hidden tales. This was a mere old art. It was the improbable discovery, a lost opus. Its worth? Inestimable. To collectors, akin to unearthing a Da Vinci sketch. She re-rolled it, concealing under posters, mind whirling, heart thumping. She surveyed. No watchers. To them, junk. She must possess it. Phone check. Post rent. £3,500 remained. All her savings. Lot 189, likely low start, perhaps $50. But if another glimpsed its promise, she'd lose it. This was ultimate risk. Yet, standing, calm enveloped her. Not solely funds. Validation. Marcus discarded her work as valueless. Now, destiny offered her the priciest canvas she'd touched. The auction kicked off at 1 p.m. The room, serene earlier, buzzed with tension. Elena sat rearward, observing discreetly, gripping paddle 112, knuckles pale. Stomach knotted. The auctioneer, Ms. Lark, a wiry woman with dramatic flair, zipped through initial lots, pottery, prints, sculptures. Sold predictably to dealers. Elena feigned boredom, but fixated on lot 189. She eyed bidders. A woman in fur for jewelry, a duo for modern abstracts, a man for photographs. None eyed the ephemera box. Hope swelled, perhaps unseen. And now, Ms. Lark announced, Lot 189, mixed art supplies and ephemera. A treasure hunt. Bidding opens at $30. Pool start. A hand rose frontward. A thrift owner from Queens. $30 taken. Elena inhaled. Moment arrived. She nodded subtly. $40 rear. Thank you, 112. $50? The Queen's bidder upped to $50. Elena to $60. The bidder glanced back, irked, likely after frames for resale. She bid $70. Elena countered $100 firmly, hoping to deter. The bidder huffed, withdrew. Relief fleeting. $120. A calm voice interjected from side shadows. Elena couldn't see well, only a silhouette, still all session. No paddle, verbal bid. Confident, resonant. Ms. Lark peered. $120 from the gentleman aside. $150. $112? Chill, gripped Elena. Who? What saw he? Assumed he knew. She nodded. $150. $200, instant retort. Murmurs rippled. Price exceeded junk value. Intrigue brewed. $250. Elena bid, sweat beading. Chunk of savings. $300 came swift. Composure frayed. This wasn't dealer style, cautious margins. This was assured, inevitable. $350, words catching. $500. Intimidating leap. Panic surged. All in reckless, but losing unbearable. $1,200, she proclaimed. Gas collective. Ms. Lark's eyes widened. Shadow Man paused. Hope flickered. Advance on $1,200? Silence. Slight head shake from shadows. Sold to 112 for $1,200. Gavel smacked. Dizzy wave hit. Elena slumped, trembling with victory. Cost nearly half her funds, but achieved. As lots continued, Shadow Man rose. Clear view. Mid-60s. Raven hair streaked gray. Bespoke navy suit. Moved with refined poise. Face angular. Keen green eyes observant. Not dealer. Aura of subtle dominance. Passing. Gazes met briefly. No ire. Curiosity. Perhaps admiration. Then vanished. Elena lingered post-auction, hands shaky paying. Porter aided with box to street. She lugged it home, mind replaying. His voice bids. Not to win, but probe. Unsettling amid triumph. Reaching studio, box on table, unease faded to elation. Faced unknown foe, prevailed. Trusted instinct, wagered self won. She extracted canvas from clutter. Hers. Viviana Moreau's lost gem. Next 3 days, Elena immersed in seclusion. Moreau canvas dominated her space. World receded. Traffic hum, emails, Marcus's smirk, all dim. Focus absolute on object. Day 1. Gentle unrolling, cleaning grime with custom solvents. Revealed vibrant hues, intricate details glowing anew. Discovered hidden underpainting, subtle symbols enhancing narrative. Day 2. Analysis, restoration planning. Admiration for Moreau swelled to reverence. Not mere painter, visionary, symbolist, emotion philosopher. Veiled narrative solved enigmas others ignored. So engrossed mid-Sunday, she missed initial knock. Second, insistent broke focus. Irritated, she cleaned hands, opened door expecting delivery. Froze. Auction Shadow Man stood in dim hall. Closer, more commanding, tall, lean, hair impeccably styled. Suit bespoke, fitting flawlessly. Green eyes piercingly astute. Miss Elena Voss? Voice same, soft, refined, authoritative sand volume. Yes, she stammered, heart racing. How named? Located? I'm Victor Hale, he extended hand. Might I speak with you? Name resonated. Victor Hale, mythic in art spheres. Heir to vast fortune, expanded exponentially. Retired eons to reclusive collecting. Ruthless via proxies, name absent records. Whispered with reverence, dread in gallery backs. On her threshold, shook hand mechanically. Grip firm, cool. How found me? Faint smile. Not hard. Card payment tied address. My team excels at locating. Gestured inward. I think you possess something mine. Words soft, yet menacing. Challenge sale? Intimidate? Protective surge for canvas discovery. Blocked door. Bought public auction, Mr. Hale. Mine. Receded. Oh, doubtless, eyes amused. Present, recall? Your bid impressive. Passion intriguing. Paused. Not to seize Miss Voss. To view. Tone eased, manner courteous. Curiosity overrode caution. Hesitated, stepped aside. Entered, framed shrinking space. Eyes swept books, tools, finally canvas on easel. Unrolled, partially restored. Approached with connoisseurs, awe, not tycoon's hubris. Bent scanned. Untouched. Astonishing, murmured. Veiled layers, symbolic interplay. As diaries depicted. Thought legend. Elena observed, mute shock. He knew. Precisely. Turned, green eyes on hers. You recognize it, yes? Chin up. Viviana Moreau's final, veiled masterpiece. Nodded, respect profound. Indeed. The enchanted veil. Elena's jaw slackened. Knew it Moreau, but not history provenance. Not just art, historic relic. How queried? Because, Victor lowered voice, my lineage hunted its centuries. Viviana Moreau distant kin. Diaries, sketches passed down. Completing her oeuvre, reclaiming lost, life's mission. This canvas capstone. Quiet fell, save distant siren. Dynamic shifted. Not buyer, personal. Legacy. At auction, Elena grasped, not outbidding. Testing admitted. Agent noted interest. Recognized your repute. Subtle, genius restorer, scholar's vision. Curious if new. How valued? Step nearer. Risked all. Shows comprehend true worth beyond currency. Why here? Not by outright. Too facile. Want higher restore than grander proposal. Victor Hale's Hampton's compound was less residence, more sovereign realm, shielded by dunes, ocean. Elena's drive from city timeless, ending on Shell Drive before modernist mansion blending sea, sky. Victor awaited, in linen, chinos, seaside gent. Let inside, not opulent foyer, but cozy rooms of art, books, salt air, driftwood. House gallery home. Canvas transported securely. Now on custom easel in atrium studio breathtaking. Glass-walled. Ocean view. Shelves of masterpieces from old masters to abstracts. Center. Empty plinth for veil. This my true pursuit. Victor soft pride intimate. Not empire's deals. Preservation of vision. Next 10 days, Elena dwelt dreamlike. Victor provided ocean suite. Left to work, join meals, evenings in studio. Talks began canvas. Restoration intricacies, sourcing period pigments, Moreau's symbolic brilliance. He listened intently, peer-like. Saw her expert, not amateur. Shared tales, forebears obsessed Moreau legend. Showed diaries, aged leather, her flowing script, ethereal drawings. Collecting connection, not ownership. Reassembling legacy, voicing forgotten talent. Elena reciprocated. Childhood in artist's den, solace in grandfather's studio. Passion for art's tales, how painting whispered secrets. First in years, felt visible. Victor valued mind, knowledge, soul, not facade status. Confidence bloomed. Timid woman opposite Marcus faded. Assured, vocal emerged. Debated pigment authenticity, research-backed, he yielded smiling. Morning's beach walks, peace profound, belonging novel. Imbalance absent. Victor billionaire, yet an art cosmos equals. Bond on shared reverence. One dusk, post-final layer on veil. Found him in cozy den unseen. Walls antique canvases of seascapes. My secondary love, gestured. Maritime art. Mapping horizons. Stood by vast 18th century ocean chart. Life navigating acquisitions. Lost pieces history. Turned, eyes earnest. My chart incomplete long. Vast blank heart. Step closer, air charged, warmth fire unrelated. No longer collector restorer. Watching you, voice low, hearing passion, reviving forgotten beauty. Revealed missing, connection, shared sight. Took hands. She held. Hands Marcus mock bear alive in his. You extraordinary, Elena Voss. Strength, brilliance hidden, or world blind. I see, breathtaking. Moment clarified. Offer beyond job. Restoration, not just canvas. Her life, self-nearing splendor. She'd lived shadow man deeming her null. Now light man deeming all. Outer world. Marcus, laughter, distant, irrelevant. Elena applied final varnish to Moreau canvas, hands confident. Enchanted veil revived. Figures luminous, symbols profound. Resurrection, in hers. She, victor in gentle rhythm. Respect to intimacy, minds to hearts. Gave estate key. Symbolic home now. Call intruded Wednesday. Acquaintance Lila for Marcus's set. Voice concern gossip mix. Elena, rumors wild. With Victor Hale? The victor? How? Marcus fuming. Blood chilled. New word spread but crude stung. Unsure what mean, Lila. Don't tease. Talk of phantom collector. New Muse. Marcus glimpsed photo from private viewing. calls you glorified painter. Old barb, new rap. Hurt distant, scar faint. Ended call firm, hand slight tremble. World intruded. Wait short. Friday, post beach stroll, saw familiar Porsche drive. Marcus's. He argued butler graves and foyer. Looked shrunken, suit costume-like. Elena there, boomed falsely, striding smile plastic. Worried sick. Heard with him, came check. Hypocrisy laughable. Concern now? Or when mocking, discarding art. I'm fine, Marcus, calm even. No further invite. Ground held. Not come? This recluse manipulator. Can't let exploit. Still responsible. Staggering. Responsibility post-laughter. Trash toss? Victor appeared balcony top. Descended deliberate. Presence commanding. Eyes on Elena. Okay? Nodded. Shifted to Marcus. Mr. Thorne, I presume. Trespassing. Depart. Marcus flushed. And used dismissal. Here, for ex-wife. Elena guessed my home. Victor flat. Not your wife. No claim. Out. Cornered, facade cracked. Fury, greed raw. Hissed Elena, foolish. No worth. That canvas he wants, right? Manipulating. Step closer, looming old. Overhead. Let help negotiate. Share peace, old times. Motive bare. Asset discarded, reclaimed desperate. He thought her same pliable. Controllable. Elena eyed desperation, avarice, pity profound, weary. Hold gone. Fear, deference evaporated. No share, Marcus, voice steady. Never understood. See canvas price. Me percentage gain. Paused, met Victor's gaze. Victor sees history, genius, soul. In me same. Hardened. Mock bare canvas, right? Empty your gems, cash, sway. But never worthless. You blind. Step back beside Victor. Leave my home. My home. Lingered. Independence. Rebuilt life. Future sans him. Marcus gaped, dawned. Lost not score. Misjudged woman. Shaped decade. Laughed reflection. Real escaped. Strengthened. Waited. Wordless. Stormed out. Door slammed. Tantrum echo. Silence. Victor descended. Took hand. Not bare. Home. Weeks post Marcus route. Serenity blanketed compound. Exorcised past ghost. Cleared for future. Confrontation tested self-love. Faced insecurity source. Stood firm. Claimed new. Moreau canvas honored in studio. Symbols timeless. Masterpiece. Symbol. Discarded junk rediscovered. True value. Relation deepened. Silence companionable days. Elena studying texts. Reigniting passion Marcus dimmed. Victor curating collection delayed. Evenings sure walks. Talks time philosophy to wave beauty. Share vulnerabilities. Lonely youth. Name pressure. Object pursuit eluding connection. In Elena, found uninterested fortune name but heart mechanism. One balmy twilight. Victor led not studio, but cliff, overlook, vast telescope, ancient brass, starwood. Moreau astronomer too. Murmured. Believed art mirrors cosmos, strokes celestial dance. Guided eyepiece. Look, Elena gasped. Jupiter, moons arrayed, celestial marvel. Wonder profound, connected vast, eternal. Years, hand on back, observe distant, collector not partaker. You grounded me, Elena. Showed beauty in human bond. Turned her, starlight glow. Face earnest, green eyes emotion deep. Not just ancestor complete. Start own, life, partnership, love. Pocket box velvet. Opened, not gaudy diamond, simple vintage ring. Emerald art nouveau, flank pearls. Catalog recognized, master subtle designs. Chosen for her, taste, self. Elena Voss, emotion thick. Missing in my design, unknown searched. Marry me, tears joy overwhelming. Thought cafe woman, broken. Marcus wrong cosmically. Life not downgrade. Stripping false, reveal core. Not bare, held self timed right. Yes, certain. Yes, Victor. Wedding intimate. Beach ceremony, close few. Elena Simple Lace walked as partner, equal, love. Later, sunset ocean glow, stood studio, Moreau, canvas whispering. Beautiful, she said. Reminder, lips temple. Time mends. Sometimes breakdown precedes true restoration. Elena leaned, heart full. Through betrayal fire, loneliness ice, emerged stronger, authentic, valuable. Not Billionaire's muse. Own redemption architect, time master, future star ocean vast, hers. And that's how cruel mockery sparked incredible life. Elena's path from despair to delight reminds true worth not others' view or holdings, but mind knowledge, heart passion, spirit resilience. Marcus thought took all, missed essential. What think Elena's transformation? Relate underestimated? Share comments. If story moved, like share needful. Subscribe more inspiring tales. Thanks watching.